everyone, and welcome. Get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty mind-blowing, AI and architecture.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
But we're looking at it with a twist.
Uh-huh.
Using words to actually design buildings. I know, wild, right?
It's like instead of sketching or using computer models,
Right.
you just describe what you want and the AI makes it come to life.
Like magic, almost. To help us unpack all this,
Yes.
we've got some fascinating research papers and articles, and even this really cool book called Diffusions in Architecture.
Yeah, and it's amazing how AI is really blurring the lines between language and visual design.
Right.
It's almost like it can tap into the imagination itself. Yeah.
I like that.
So we're going to explore how this is revolutionizing the way architects work and even how we understand, like, historical buildings.
Okay, I'm already super intrigued, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break this down a bit.
Sure.
So you mentioned using words to design buildings. That sounds a lot like this concept I've heard of.
Okay.
It's called Ekphrasis, and it's where writers try to capture art with words. Is that what we're talking about here?
I got it. Ekphrasis has been around, like, forever.
Wow.
You can think of it as painting a picture,
Okay.
but you're using words to do it.
Okay.
A really famous example is in Homer's Iliad,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
where he describes Achilles' shield in such detail you can practically see it in your mind.
That's awesome. So traditionally, Ekphrasis has been about translating visual art into words.
Right.
But now we're talking about AI, like doing the opposite. It's taking words and generating actual designs.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
I'm listening.
Imagine this, okay? You feed a detailed description of a building into an AI, something like a soaring glass tower that blends seamlessly with the surrounding forest. And then the AI spits out, like photorealistic images, floor plans, even 3D models.
That's kind of blowing my mind. It's like the AI is reading your thoughts.
I know, it's crazy.
And then turning them into, like, reality. I gotta be honest.
Okay.
Part of me is a little skeptical.
That's fair.
Can AI really understand, like, complex architectural concepts?
Right.
Just from words?
That's a great question. And it all comes down to, like, how these AI systems are actually trained.
Okay, how does that work?
So they're fed massive data sets of text and images. And they learn to associate specific words and phrases with visual features.
So it's almost like teaching the AI, like, a new language.
Yeah. The language of architecture.
Wow. So it's not just, like, randomly slapping images together. It's actually understanding the meaning behind the words.
Exactly. And that understanding, that's what lets it generate designs that are not only visually appealing, but also structurally sound and functional.
Oh, okay. So they actually, like, make sense from an architectural point of view.
Yeah. You know, there was this one project where an architect used AI to design a concert hall. But they wanted it to have optimal acoustics. You know?
Yeah, that's super important for a concert.
Right. So by describing the desired sound quality in detail, the AI came up with a unique shape for the hall.
Oh, wow.
That traditional methods might have missed.
So it's like the AI is able to think outside the box in a way.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's pretty impressive. It's starting to sound like AI could be a really powerful tool for architects.
Definitely.
Not just, a fancy gimmick.
Right.
But how does this actually work in practice? Like, what are the specific benefits for architects using this technology?
Okay, so imagine you're an architect, right?
Okay.
And you're working on a new skyscraper.
Cool.
Now, instead of spending hours sketching and modeling different designs, you could just describe your vision to the AI.
Like, just tell it what you're thinking.
Yeah. Like the height, the materials you want to use, how it interacts with the environment around it.
That's amazing.
And the AI could generate, like, multiple design options in a matter of minutes, each one, like meeting your specifications.
So it's like having a super fast design assistant who can explore all the possibilities before you even, like, lift a pencil.
Exactly.
That could save architects so much time and effort.
Definitely. And it allows for much faster, like, iteration and experimentation. Architects can test out different ideas quickly, tweak the descriptions, and just see how the design evolves in real time.
Wow, so it's really interactive.
It is.
That would be a game changer.
For sure.
Especially for, like, complex projects.
Yeah. And there's another big benefit we're starting to see.
What's that?
Improved communication. Imagine trying to explain, like a complicated design concept
Right.
to a client who has no clue about architecture.
Yeah, I can see how that would be tricky.
It can be a nightmare.
Yeah. I once tried to explain to my contractor
Oh, no.
how I wanted my kitchen remodeled. Uh-huh.
And it ended up looking nothing like what I had in mind.
Exactly. But with AI-powered Ekphrasis, architects can generate these photorealistic images
Oh,
in
okay.
their descriptions.
So it's like you said, painting a picture with words.
Yes,
But then the AI actually paints the picture.
exactly.
So then everyone's literally on the same page,
They are.
seeing the same picture. That could be huge for like client presentations and collaborations.
Definitely. And it's not just about making things look pretty.
Okay.
AI can analyze those designs
Mhm.
for things like structural integrity,
Right. That's important.
energy efficiency,
Uh-huh.
all sorts of factors. It provides like valuable insights
Wow.
to help the architect make decisions.
So we're talking about both creative and practical benefits.
Sure.
This is starting to sound less like science fiction and more like the future of architecture.
It really is.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah. Let's take a step back and talk about how these AI systems actually work their magic.
okay.
You mentioned something called diffusion models earlier.
Uh-huh.
Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So diffusion models are a type of AI that learn by reversing a process of adding noise to an image.
What? So, like, they make the image worse first.
Kind of. Imagine you have a perfect picture of a building, right?
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And the AI gradually adds noise
Uh-huh.
until it becomes completely static.
Oh, wow, like a TV screen with no signal?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's basically scrambling the image.
Right.
But I still don't get how that helps it generate new designs.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting.
I'm listening.
The AI then learns to reverse this noise adding process.
Okay.
So it starts with pure static
But with
and
nice.
then slowly removes the noise
Oh.
until it gets back to the original image.
It's like taking a blurry picture and bringing it into focus.
Okay.
I'm starting to see the connection. So the AI is learning to create images by understanding how to, like, break them down and build them back up again.
Yes.
But how does it know what to build? How does it connect the words to the images?
That's the key, right?
Mhm.
During training,
Uh-huh.
the AI is fed a massive amount of data.
Okay.
And this data includes both images and text descriptions of those images.
So it's seeing both at the same time.
Yeah. And that allows the AI to learn the relationships
Okay.
between specific words
Uh-huh.
and visual features.
Oh, I see.
So when you give the AI a description, like
Right.
a curved glass facade with a rooftop garden,
Right.
it can actually visualize that
Uh-huh.
because it's seen those words and images together.
During its training.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And
yeah.
the more data it's trained on, the better it gets at understanding.
This is truly fascinating stuff.
It is, isn't it?
We've talked about ekphrasis,
Uh-huh.
the AI's ability to understand architectural descriptions, and
Right.
even the magic of diffusion models.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, are there, like, any limitations?
That's a great question.
Is there anything this technology can't do?
Well, it's important to remember that AI is still a tool.
Okay.
It's very powerful,
Yeah.
but it's not about replacing human architects entirely.
Right, so it's more about augmenting their abilities, right?
Exactly.
Giving them, like, new ways to design and create.
So one limitation is that AI still needs humans for the initial input,
Okay.
like the creative spark that starts the process.
Oh, so the AI can explore variations,
Right.
but it can't come up with the original concept on its own.
Exactly. So it's like having a brilliant assistant, right?
Yeah.
Who can execute your ideas perfectly,
Okay.
but it still needs you to be the visionary.
I like that. What else?
Another limitation is that AI can sometimes struggle with really abstract or subjective concepts.
Like what?
For example, if you describe a building as elegant
Uh-huh.
or inspiring,
Right.
the AI might have trouble translating those qualities.
Because those are, like, human interpretations, right?
Yeah. It's hard to define them objectively.
So it sounds like we still need human intuition and artistry
Definitely.
in the design process.
AI can handle the technical aspects,
Uh-huh.
but it's the human architect who brings the emotional intelligence, the understanding of human needs and desires that really makes a design special.
Wow, so we're not just talking about a technological novelty here.
No, we're not.
This is, like, a fundamental shift
It is.
in how we think about architecture and the creative process itself.
It's a true paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And we're just at the beginning.
That's so
We're on
exciting.
the cusp of a new era where AI and human creativity are going to collaborate to shape the world around us in ways we can only imagine.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
We've explored ekphrasis, delved into the inner workings of diffusion models, and even uncovered some of the limitations of this technology.
Yeah?
But we're just getting started.
I know. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll look at real-world examples of how AI is being used in architecture today, like right now.
Cool. What kind of stuff will we be looking at?
From generating sustainable designs
Okay.
to even reviving lost architectural wonders. Get ready to be amazed.
I can't wait. Stay tuned, everyone.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and the future of architecture.
You know, I'm still kind of buzzing from everything we talked about before the break. It's incredible to think that we could be using, like, just words to design buildings in the near future.
Yeah, it really is a paradigm shift. But this isn't just theoretical stuff. You know,
Oh, really?
AI is already being used by architects, like, all over the world.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, they're using it to solve real design challenges.
Okay, you got to spill the tea. Give me some examples. What kind of stuff are they doing?
Well, one area that's really taking off is generative design.
Okay.
You see, traditionally, architects would spend hours and hours coming up with different designs for a project.
Right, trying to figure out the best option.
Exactly. It was super time-consuming, you know? And it was often limited by, like, the architect's own experience and imagination.
Okay, that makes sense.
And even with computer-aided design tools, it can still be a pretty slow process.
Right, yeah, it's a lot of clicking and dragging and stuff.
Exactly. But with AI-powered generative design, architects can kind of set the parameters.
What do you mean by parameters?
Like things like the site location, building materials, budget, and even environmental considerations.
Well, all the important stuff.
Right. And then the AI will generate like a whole bunch of design options that all meet those criteria.
So it's like having a brainstorming partner.
Yeah.
But on steroids. Like it can explore so many possibilities that a human architect might never think of.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about like quantity either, you know.
What do you mean?
It's about quality too. These AI systems, they can analyze each design for things like structural integrity, energy efficiency.
Safe and efficient.
Exactly. And even compliance with building codes.
So it's not just like spitting out random shapes.
No, not at all.
It's actually generating designs that are like creative, but also practical.
Precisely. There's actually this really interesting case study.
Oh, tell me about it.
About this architectural firm that used AI to design a sustainable office complex.
Oh, okay.
It was in a really densely populated city.
I'm picturing like something super futuristic.
Well, the cool thing is the AI didn't come up with like some crazy avant-garde design. Instead, it generated a design that really fit in with the existing city. You know?
So it wasn't like an eyesore.
Exactly. It maximized natural light.
Okay.
And it was designed to minimize energy consumption.
Wow. So it sounds like AI can actually help architects design buildings that are like better for the environment and better for the people who use them.
Absolutely. And here's something that might surprise you.
What?
AI is also being used to like revive lost architectural wonders.
Wait, what? How is that even possible? Are we talking time travel here?
No time travel needed. Imagine like a historical building that was destroyed by, you know, war or fire or just time.
Yeah. There are lots of those, sadly.
We might have old photographs, maybe some drawings, or even written descriptions.
Right, but those are just fragments, right? You couldn't build a whole building from that.
That's where AI comes in.
Okay.
So by analyzing those fragments and using historical data about building materials, construction techniques.
Oh, so like how they used to build things back then.
Exactly. The AI can kind of fill in the missing pieces.
That's amazing.
And generate a digital reconstruction.
It's like bringing history back to life.
It really is. Are you familiar with the ancient library of Alexandria?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it. It was one of the biggest libraries in the ancient world.
Right, exactly. And it was destroyed centuries ago.
Yeah, what a tragedy. So much knowledge was lost.
It is a tragedy. But now, with AI, we might be able to get a glimpse of what that library looked like.
You're kidding.
And how it worked.
That would be amazing. To actually see inside.
Yeah. Imagine being able to walk through its halls, browse its shelves.
Wow.
And, like, access the knowledge that was lost.
That's mind-blowing. It really shows how AI can connect us to the past in a whole new way.
It's really remarkable. And, you know, it's not just about recreating the past either.
What else can it do?
AI is also being used to, like, envision the future of architecture.
Okay, now you're really getting me excited. What does the future hold for AI-powered architecture?
Well, one thing that people are really excited about
Uh-huh.
is the idea of self-adapting buildings.
Self-adapting buildings, what does that even mean?
So imagine a building that can actually change its layout,
Whoa, hold on.
its function, even its appearance.
Okay, are we talking about buildings that can, like, remodel themselves? That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It might sound futuristic, but the technology is getting closer all the time. You see, AI could analyze data from sensors all over the building.
Okay.
Things like temperature, light levels, even how many people are inside.
So, like, the building is always learning.
Yes,
And then what? It uses that information to, like, make changes.
exactly, to create the best possible environment for the people inside.
So, like, a house that automatically adjusts the temperature
Yeah.
based on your preferences.
Exactly. Or a workplace that reconfigures itself for different kinds of work.
Oh, wow. Or, like, a hospital room that adapts to the patient's needs.
See? It's like taking the idea of a smart home to a whole new level.
That would be incredible.
And it's not just about comfort and convenience either.
Oh, right. What else?
AI could also help us design buildings that are more resilient
Okay.
to climate change.
That's a big one. How could AI help with that?
Well, AI could analyze tons of data
Okay.
about things like weather patterns, projected sea level rise, all those environmental factors.
So, like, all this stuff that's changing because of climate change.
Right. And then it could generate designs
Yeah.
that are better equipped to handle extreme weather events,
Oh, that's smart.
minimize energy consumption,
Uh-huh.
and even help the environment.
So we're talking about buildings that are smarter,
Yes.
tougher, and more sustainable.
Exactly. And there's another exciting development on the horizon,
Ooh, tell me more.
the integration of AI with robotics.
Wait, now you're really getting into sci-fi territory. Robots building houses. Is that even possible?
It's actually already happening, on a small scale at least.
Wow, really?
There are companies developing robots that can, like, lay bricks,
No way.
pour concrete, and even assemble prefabricated building components.
That sounds like a huge change for the construction industry.
It really is. And when you combine those robots with AI-powered design systems,
Yeah.
the possibilities are kind of mind-blowing, you know?
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Imagine a future where buildings can be designed and built super fast with incredible precision and efficiency.
That would be amazing. But wouldn't that put a lot of construction workers out of jobs?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something we need to think about carefully
Right.
as this technology keeps evolving.
Right.
But I actually think that AI and robotics will create new jobs and opportunities.
Okay, how so?
Well, instead of doing the manual labor,
Mm-hmm.
construction workers could be trained to operate and maintain those robotic systems.
So they would need, like, new skills.
Exactly. They could become skilled technicians, programmers, even designers,
Wow.
working alongside AI.
That's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
I think so too.
It makes sense that as technology changes, the jobs will change too.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's something we need to be aware of, you know.
Right.
We need to make sure workers have the training and education they need.
So they can be a part of this new future.
Exactly. It's going to be a really interesting blend of human creativity and technological innovation.
I'm really starting to see that. This is more than just cool technology. It's like a whole new way of thinking about architecture and creativity.
It really is. And we're just getting started.
Oh, there's more.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
In the last part of our deep dive, we're going to tackle the big question. What does all this mean for the future of architecture? And what does it mean for society as a whole?
I can't wait to find out. Stick with us, everyone. All right, welcome back, everyone. So we spent this deep dive exploring how AI can generate building designs just from words. And we've seen some really cool examples of how architects are actually using this technology, like right now.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Totally. But now I think it's time to step back a little and look at the bigger picture.
Totally.
What does all of this mean for the future of architecture?
That's the big question, isn't it?
And what does it mean for all of us, you know, the people who actually live and work in these buildings?
Right, because we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we design and build the spaces around us.
Exactly. And, you know, like with any new technology, there are going to be incredible opportunities,
For sure.
but also, you know, maybe some challenges we need to be aware of.
Definitely.
So, for example, we talked earlier about how AI could help us design more sustainable buildings, right?
Yeah, that's a huge positive.
Huge. But are there any potential downsides? Like, could this technology lead to some unintended consequences?
That's a really good point. One concern that some people have is the potential for homogenization.
Homogenization.
Yeah, like what if everyone starts using the same AI tools and data sets?
Okay.
Will all of our cities end up looking the same? Like cookie-cutter buildings everywhere.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Will we lose that unique character and diversity that make our cities so interesting?
That's a really interesting point. Kind of reminds me of when you use those AI image generators online, sometimes you start to notice patterns, like all the faces start to look a little bit the same.
Right, exactly. And some people worry that the same thing could happen with architecture.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do we avoid that?
Well, I think it comes down to how architects choose to use these AI tools.
Okay.
It's really important that they use AI as a tool for inspiration and exploration,
Okay.
not as like a cookie-cutter solution.
Right, like not just blindly accepting whatever the AI spits out.
Exactly. The human element, the architect's vision and artistry, that's always going to be essential in creating spaces that are both functional and beautiful,
Totally. So it's not about letting the AI take over.
Right.
It's about finding the right balance, right?
Yeah.
Between human creativity and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. And that balance, it'll probably keep evolving as the technology gets more sophisticated.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this is about way more than just technology, isn't it? We're talking about aesthetics, cultural identity, even the role of the architect in society.
You got it.
Yeah.
It really forces us to rethink our entire relationship with the built environment.
Interesting.
And, for centuries, architecture has been this highly specialized field.
Right, you have to go to school for, years and years.
Exactly. It was really only accessible to people with a ton of training and experience.
But you were saying earlier that AI could change that, right?
Yeah. That barrier's starting to come down.
Wow. So could we all become armchair architects in the future?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to design your own home,
Wow.
your own workspace, even your own neighborhood, using these really intuitive AI tools.
That would be so cool. So you wouldn't need to be an expert in drafting or anything like that.
Exactly. You could just describe what you want, and the AI would turn your vision into a real design.
That's pretty empowering, isn't it? It gives everyone a say in how their spaces are designed.
Definitely. And I think it could lead to a much more diverse and inclusive built environment.
Okay, I like that.
Instead of just relying on a small group of architects,
Yeah.
we could tap into the creativity of entire communities.
But wouldn't that create some challenges too? How do we make sure that all these designs are safe and, meet building codes?
Those are all important questions.
Yeah, could we end up with a total mess of amateur designs?
Well, that's why we need to be thoughtful about how we use this technology, right? It's powerful, but it can be used for good or bad.
Right, like anything else.
So as a society, we need to establish some guidelines and regulations to make sure AI is used responsibly and ethically.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we choose to use it.
Exactly.
And the values that we embed in it.
I think we need to have some open and honest conversation about the impact of AI on architecture, on the construction industry, on our cities.
So everyone needs to be involved in this conversation.
I think so. We need to think about the ethical implications, the economic impacts, the whole picture.
Wow, it sounds like we're at a crossroads here.
I think we are.
AI could totally revolutionize architecture in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah. But it also comes with some risks that we can't ignore.
It's a pivotal moment, that's for sure.
And it's up to all of us to figure out how to navigate this new world.
Architects, designers, policymakers, even the public.
It's a team effort.
Yeah. We need to work together to make sure AI is used to create a world that is more beautiful, more sustainable, and more equitable for everyone.
Well said. Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We started with this ancient idea of ekphrasis and ended up exploring these mind-blowing possibilities of AI-powered architecture.
And the crazy thing is, we're just at the beginning of all this.
I know. Who knows what incredible things we'll be able to create in the future?
That's what's so exciting about it, right? The future is wide open.
And as we keep exploring this intersection of art, architecture, and artificial intelligence, we have the chance to shape that future.
In a way that benefits everyone.
Exactly. Well, it's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you today.
And to all our listeners out there, if this got you as excited as it got us, we encourage you to keep exploring. Check out that book we mentioned, Diffusions in Architecture.
It's a great read.
Explore some online resources, and most importantly, keep asking questions.
Curiosity is key.
The future of architecture is in our hands.
So let's make it a good one.
Until next time, keep on diving.